This Florida Derby Day, remember to sign up with DRF Bets.
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. It's Florida Derby Saturday. It's a card chock full of graded stakes races, and we'll take a peek at race number 6. We'll throw up the field for the Grade 3 Appleton. We're going a mile for 4-year-olds and up. And, Mike, there are some very familiar faces in here. The number 3 Frostmorn is your 9-5 morning line favorite. It seems like you and I have been covering Frostmorn forever, yet this will only be the 7-year-old's 15th lifetime start. He has speed.
He does. He doesn't need the lead, but he does have speed. Listen, on his best day, he's capable of running a very big race. When I see Frostmorn at 9-5 on the morning line these days, Dan, yuck.
I tend to agree that you might want to find an alternative, especially if you believe the pace is fast. And Timeform US believes the pace will be fast. Frostmorn will face company, according to Timeform US, in the form of Renaissance Frolic, Little Menace, who's moving from dirt to turf. Gray's Fable has speed. Perfect Spidey even has a little bit of speed as well, Mike. This is an interesting group. Even Ever Dangerous, the 4, can get close to the pace. That being said, Frostmorn's likely the fastest.
I guess he is. If he wants the lead, he can get there. I don't know how much I agree with this pace projection, Dan. I know that there are horses that want to be forward in this race, but I didn't see this being a fast pace.
A horse that could work out a nice trip because he utilized a rating gear for really the first time in his career. In his most recent start is the number 1 Gray's Fable. And we'll go back to that race at Woodbine on September the 12th. It's an optional claiming race going a 1-turn mile, and he's in behind horses. He rated off the pace, and he's going to look for some room, and he gets it right here, and he finishes fairly strongly to win. The 4th place horse coming back to finish second in an optional claimer on synthetic with an 88 Beyer speed figure. Steep class test for this one.
Yeah, they're going to find out, where he fits with graded stakes horses again. It didn't work out the first time they tried it up in Canada, but that was a very soft turf course. He ran fine in here, Dan. He's off a layoff in this spot, too. I don't think that necessarily helps his chances. We'll see what he does.
2.5 months off for the 2 Perfect Spidey, who might have run a little bit better than it looks on paper in his most recent start. The winner of that race is very sharp. Phantom Currency came back to wire him in the McDermott with a 99 Beyer. But B, Perfect Spidey really wanted to go in the early part of that race. Tyler really didn't want to go. They got into a tug of war, and that might have taken some of the starch out of this horse.
Yeah, it made sense for them to want to go in there. I don't know why they didn't. He broke fine. He could have made the lead in there. They didn't want it. The first half went in 50. The second half went in, I don't know, that's like 45 and change, and he's chasing it. I mean, to me, it just didn't really work out. I also, Dan, when I look at this horse, I don't think this horse wants a mile and an eighth. I think cutting back to a mile really works for him. I thought he ran fine 2 starts back in a really, really tough allowance race. This horse is interesting at a price.
I think you make a good point because he did a lot of the dirty chase work last time out. And that's kind of an underrated trip that some handicappers fail to realize isn't the easiest trip. This time around, there might be other horses pushing the pace. He has proven he can come from way out of it in the past. And I don't think he'll be way out of it. He might be 5 lengths off it, making a good run. Here's Frostmorn's last effort, the Grade 3 Tropical Turf, his first start of the year. And as is his want, he will go right to the front, and he has things in control at about the 3/16 pole, but he's going to get tired. The 5th place horse came out of this race to win an optional claimer with a 102 Beyer that might have been a little bit inflated. This horse is capable of popping triple-digit Beyer speed figures, especially when he gets loose, and that's really the key to the race. How much of a breather does he get on the backstretch?
Yeah, we'll see. Getting loose against this field, I think, would be totally different than getting loose like he did last. I mean, that race we just watched, he got absolutely loose in there. But that was also a much better field. The 1-2 finishers there, he was just no match for them. This isn't as tough a spot, Dan, so obviously he can win. He's just one of those horses who never really panned out. He was a good 2-year-old. He was a really good 3-year-old. And after that, yeah, he's run a couple of fast races, but he has not turned out to be as good as it looked like he was, once going to be. And I just wouldn't want a short price on him.
I think the jury's still out as to the quality of the 4 Ever Dangerous. He won the Bryan Station Stakes in his final start at 3 as a 1,000,000-to-1 shot. And then he came back with this race where actually it was the fastest of his career. He runs second behind Flying Scotsman, who finished behind Frostmorn in the Tropical Turf. This was a race where Flying Scotsman just got loose. Ever Dangerous basically chased him all the way around the track. Ever Dangerous ran fine. Now he's stepping up in class, but he's also lightly raced. And as a 4-year-old making his second start of the year, he's eligible to improve.
Yeah, he can get better for sure. He just couldn't make a race of it in here, which I thought was a little bit disappointing, Dan. I know Flying Scotsman was loose, but this horse was close to him. I'm not really sure how good I think Flying Scotsman is. We'll see. He can do better second off the layoff, obviously. His Bryan Station was good, I guess, but man, did he get a great ride from post 14 in there. He didn't even lose any ground. He kept up close to the pace, and he finally got it done. I don't know. I feel like the jury's still out on him. I don't think I would take the 7-2 morning line. We'll see what kind of price he is.
And he is taking a step up in class. That last race we just saw hasn't come back very strong just yet. Renaissance Frolic, I've always liked him. He's been a solid performer in South Florida for a while, but I think he might have settled at his level. High optional claimer. They found a nice $50,000 claimer for him last time out, and he scored. Let's watch this race. Blinkers off for Renaissance Frolic. He was able to sit just off of him. He comes with a finish at 2-1, and he wins it, as a horse with his back class should probably do against this field. 90 buyers, solid horse, needs to improve against this field.
Yeah, he does. He ran fine in here, though. He's a really nice horse, and he's capable of getting the right kind of a trip in this race, I guess. He's just going to have to prove it against, much better horses this time.
One of the X factors in this race is the number 6, Little Menace, will be trying turf for the first time. We've seen it so many times. Michael Maker gets his hands on pretty good horses, puts them on turf, sometimes stretches them out, and they make hay. This horse was purchased last month at public auction for $145,000, and he has a little turf pedigree. He's by Into Mischief. They can do anything. And the Damsa have to balance the books, who is a solid multiple graded stakes winner on the turf. So this horse is a little bit interesting, stretching out, switching to turf for Maker.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. I loved Balance the Books, man. I know he never really panned out. I really liked that horse as a young horse for Klarovich and Chad Brown. He's bred enough for turf, I guess. It's interesting that Maker runs him here. It's not like he's found, a bunch of killers in here. I mean, it's a good field, but it's not a great field. This horse is a little interesting at a price.
In the similar vein as Renaissance Frolic is the 7 Forever Mo, who ran in stakes company early in his career and settled now as a sort of mid-level claimer. Let's watch his win for $50,000 on March the 11th. 89 buyer speed figure. He pulls off an upset here. We see him swing to the outside, and he runs this field down. It's been a while since he's been able to pop a buyer that would make him competitive with these, however.
Yeah, I mean, he gets the job done here to his credit. It's not the most impressive win in the world, but he did get the job done. He was behind Renaissance Frolic 2 starts back. He's just another horse who's in pretty tough here, it looks like.
Maybe Chad Brown found himself a bargain at public auction last fall with the 8 Seismic Wave, who was purchased for only $60,000 at the Juddmonte Dispersal at Keeneland November. This horse is a multiple stakes winner, and I think it's very interesting that he's showing up off the layoff as a first-time gelding. He did show some ability, especially at Gulfstream Park early in his career.
He really did. And it almost feels like, Dan, the key to Seismic Wave, I feel like has always maybe been distance. He was a good 3-year-old, so they tried a lot of those longer graded stakes races for that division, but he really feels like a horse who wants a mile, and that's what they bring him back at. This is a great distance for him. If that pace projector is even close to right, and there's a fast pace in here, he might almost be impossible to beat, Dan. I mean, he's actually a really good horse. I'm surprised he sold for so little.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 3 Appleton. And no disrespect to Frostmore. We've always liked him, but at a short price, we'll try to beat him. Perfect Spidey might be a little bit dirtied up.
Yeah, that's why I took him on top. I mean, I'll admit that I have a thing for this horse. I've been following him for a little while, so I want to give him one more chance in here at a price and hope he gets the right trip in here. I'm going to take him and Seismic Wave, and I'm really just going to sort of concentrate on those 2 horses, Dan.
I have Seismic Wave up there as well. We both have him as our second selection. Ever Dangerous has scope, and that's where I'm going here. I want a horse with a little bit of potential, and I think his tactical speed will leave him just off of the pace, ready to strike, turning into the stretch. I think he drifts off the 7-2. 4-8-5-2 for me, 2-8-3-4 for Mike. It's the Grade 3 Appleton on Florida Derby Saturday. Best of luck.